Let's go. Okay, we're live. 2 shows in a day for Pedro. Yeah, if anyone wants to go back and watch Jake Douglas. I'm just doing my best Jake Douglas impression. If anyone wants to go back and watch Jake Douglas, I spoke to him this morning and I spoke to Grace Walton yesterday because I'm off work and I have time during the day. So I can speak to people from Australia. But now my kids are at home as well, so it's finished. Around the whiteboard, semi-final, our last semi-final of this run. So we've got Hiller, Andrew, and Seth. Oh, I shouldn't have given both of Hiller's names because I don't know both of Seth's names. I can't remember his surname. It's not Rollins. Seth Page. That's it. Thank you. Nice t-shirt spin.
Yeah. Little OG.
Nice. I got socks today. You got socks today as well, Jason, right?
I did indeed.
Yeah, OG. Yeah. Oh, good man. So if what's the website?
Rising Tide.
But it's with a Z.
Yeah.
So she is passing on Chase, like the OG culture apparel through Europe and the UK so you can avoid taxes and shit. Oh, there you go. Oh, they're sold out. There's other stuff. There's other stuff. Okay. So semi-final, and we've got Hiller and Seth are waiting in the next round. We've got 3 topics, 3 guests. These 3 guys made it through. Jason's here because Brian Friend chickened out. So he took his place and then he dominated in his semi-final. He beat the shit out of Josh Bridges. Spin. Who was in your semi-final?
Wasn't against Jason. He was against Hiller during that podcast.
Yeah,
He didn't know Jason was here. He was just
he was fighting his own war. Yeah. Spin. Who were you against?
Dallin Pepper and Mr. HWPO.
Oh yeah, Dallin actually gave you a good run for your money that one. He had a couple of saucy little sly digs he made. And then John, you had Thibaut and Vakey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so these guys have won their preliminary round. Now they're into the semi-final. I need to share my clock. There's an L in there. And then I also need to say you can go to btwb.com/all-in-one and you can avail of their just fantastic gym management, or I just use it to track my workouts. So if I do a Sentinel training workout, it's fine, that should take care of itself. But if I do my own thing or something random I see, you can use the Beyond the Whiteboard app and go in and like it's actually really, I don't even know why you're never going to be able to see it, but it's really intuitive. Like you can pick. So I did like a burpee, obviously a burpee workout yesterday, but you can put it in really easy. It has like AI that takes, that kind of predicts what you're trying to do, and then it takes over. And you're like, yeah, that is what I'm trying to do, or no, I'm not that fit. That isn't what I was trying to do. So I'm injured at the minute, so I can't do any actual like normal training. So I'm just doing like burpees and other shit. Anyway, rambling. btwb.com/all-in-one. Brilliant. Okay, topic 1. We're going to go nearest to me to furthest away. So Spin, you're going to be up first. Jason second and John third. So someone actually messaged me. It was funny. I actually think it was the same person that did the Roman Krenikov AI translation thing that got me in so much trouble. It was the same person, but she said there is no central library for CrossFit movements. And then if you're looking at any other sport, you can find the rules, you can find what's expected of you, all that kind of stuff, like click of a finger. But unless a workout comes up in the open or a movement comes up in an open workout, there is just no easy way of finding a standard for the workout or for the movement. Obviously, the level 1 or whatever, but for the average person trying to get involved in CrossFit. So my question to you guys is it time that CrossFit create a central movement library? Spin, you're up first. You got 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Off you go.
Yeah, we definitely need more rules, more paperwork, more bureaucracy throughout this whole thing. No, we do not need a central movement library. I know the IF3 has it. I just don't. It's a thruster. You know what it is. Like, we're not like reinventing the wheel here. Like, the movements aren't that difficult. And really, when you think about it, I think when you set that up, you kind of limit yourself from finding better situations. So think about the handstand push-up. I think we've gotten to a pretty good spot of a tape line where it is with 30 inches. We would have, if we had put that in writing way back in the day, we'd never have moved to a box, moved to this line. Like, I think it prevents creativity and actually advancing the sport by trying to solidify something in writing.
Good stuff. All right, Jason, you're up next. You've got 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Off you go.
Well, it would need to be a pretty big library, but absolutely, yes, I think it would be a good thing. I want to see every movement, what it is, how it should be performed, and specifically what a judge should be looking for. And then if it's a CrossFit event, open, quarterfinals, semifinals, the games, or a CrossFit licensed event, that should be the playbook that they are pulling from. And I think it's good for everyone because coaches know what they need to teach their athletes. Athletes know what is expected of them. Judges know exactly what they're looking for. And hopefully that leads to less mistakes being made on the field. Fans know what to expect. Affiliate owners can make sure they're teaching their members to perform these movements that way, just in case they show up in the open. And then we don't have situations with the handstand push-ups where we're saying, well, who knows what movement it's going to be this year, or with the burpees over the bar where you're told, well, you know what a burpee looks like, right? Because if you looked at people's video submissions, clearly not everyone did.
Jeez, so angry. All right, John, you're up. You got 60 seconds. Off you go.
I'm going to say yes, that they do. But CrossFit's answer is going to be they already do. Because if you Google CrossFit movement standard list, it takes you to a movement list. And it has every single movement you known to man. The problem is you have to read through 10 pages on what is a deadlift, where do you hold a deadlift, all this stupid stuff before you get to any type of standard list. I think they need to condense it and make a movement list, but make it very concise. Like the movement starts with this. You're looking for hip extension. You're not allowed to bounce. Asterisk, judge's discretion when judging. And then you make that into a PDF and then attach that to every single judge's course, like at the end of their achievement of their judge's course with this PDF. But make it concise for every movement and you could just search it. That's what they should do.
Good stuff. I just want to change a setting here. Isn't it crazy that this is the best version of this clock that I can find? I mean, it's better than when I had the fucking thing over my shoulder. That was a shit show. All right, Spin, your rebuttals. You've got 20 seconds and your time starts now. Off you go.
We're overcomplicating things by doing it. Like we don't need a rule book or standards for the clean and have some specific movement library to teach them how to do a clean. Like we're talking about a handful of things. And also to Jason's point, no fan is going to go read hundreds of pages of movement standards so they can follow along the action at the semifinals.
Good stuff. I muted Jason by accident there at the end of your time because his picture is more to the left on my end. All right, Jason, you got 20 seconds. Your time starts now. Off you go.
Yeah, fans might not read it, but at least it's there for them. And I also think talking about like limiting creativity, if CrossFit wants to add movements, they could add a movement, have the demo team demonstrate it at the games, give athletes time to learn it, and then implement it the following season. So we don't have people looking at the best in the world and just laughing because they can't do double under crossovers.
John, you're up. You got 20 seconds.
Yeah, Brian, I don't think you realize how retarded some people are. Like if there is a rule book listed with concise movements, whenever you get docked in no rep by CrossFit, it tells you exactly why. There it is. You didn't follow it. You get docked on your reps. You can't just leave it to be.
All right. Let me just do up some points. Incredible. Maybe my favorite thing in that whole little segment there was Jason took an incredibly loud swallow of a drink of water there. Just towards the end. I don't know what that says about the standard of debate. All right. Do up some scores. I have to change your names as well. Well done. Mainly yours because it's really long.
While you're calculating, I think
Rebuttal time's over, Brian.
I'm not trying to do it. I'm saying like you're limiting everything to the CrossFit, the small team at the CrossFit Games, right? Like the whole point of this is to be going to all different competitions. Other groups have made things like JR would never do handstand walk over a hurdle because that's not part of some standard movement list. Like you're limiting yourself to creativity outside of other people. Right. Like, and you'd have to have the foresight to say for next year, if I don't know it by the games, I'm not going to put it in a competition. There's a lot of, you're limiting yourself so many different ways.
Yeah. Oh, my fucking names aren't on. So John got 2, Jason got 2, Spin got 1. John mainly got 1 just for getting angry there at the end. He was only on 1 up until he told Brian that people are retarded. Yeah, I think the issue, like, I understand, I take your point, Spin, but I don't think just because there is a list of movements and what they look like or should look like, I don't think that you are then limited to that list. Like, I don't think that JR would have his hands tied by the fact that whatever backwards pegboard isn't on it and he wants to do it. Like, I think that it just gives you, I think you're coming at it from the point of view of we don't need it. Like, say us 4 or whoever, like people who've been around a while don't need it. But I'm considering the people who are like, oh, what's this CrossFit thing? Oh, what's this CrossFit Open? And they want to like gear up for it and get ready for it and, you know, like do a bit of research or whatever. And they're having to do what John's saying of going through like 50 pages of pointless stuff that they don't need to know just to see the picture at the end of like, what's a wall ball? You know what I mean? But yeah, I take your point. And I give you 1 point for it. All right. Jason, you're up next. So Spain, actually, you put out an article and you featured it, you chatted about it a bit on your show with John and Jason Tyler, Heat One app Watkins. So Heinrich Oscarsson made an appearance. He's back, having served a 4-year ban. Hiller is banned. There's been no, like, I assume that's 4 years, but there's been no, like, he hasn't actually tested positive. So I don't really know what the story is there. They presume they'd have to do a test on him and he tests positive and then they can ban him for 4 years because he could just argue if he wanted to. I don't think he wants to, but he could argue, like, no, I didn't. Heinrich is back. Like, that man has had a needle sticking out of his arm for the last 4 years. Like, no question about it. He's been drinking peptides, like just like walking around. So my question is a 4-year ban right for testing positive for a banned substance or a performance enhancing drug in the sport of CrossFit? Jason, you're up first. You got 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Off you go.
Well, I feel bad for these poor athletes that are serving 4-year bans because unknowingly somebody tainted their very cheap supplements with very expensive PEDs. But it should be longer. The life of a competitive CrossFit athlete is relatively short, so a longer ban would be more detrimental and maybe a bigger deterrent and stop people doing that. That being said, I do think that it's more important the testing protocol for people that are on the banned list already and serving a ban. So if CrossFit was doing a better job of sort of testing them while they're on that banned list, so they can't just train for years juiced up to the gills and then come back to competitive CrossFit with that advantage. So if they had a stricter program in place, then I would say 4 years is more than sufficient. But as that's, you know, the longer you're going to do that, it's going to be harder for them to do. So I think if they're not going to do that, then a longer ban just makes it a bit more painful for the athlete.
Fair enough. All right, John, you're up. You've got 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Off you go.
I think what they currently have is perfect. I think if you go 2 years, it's too short. I think if you go longer, then it's your whole career. Like I think of 2 people whenever I think of the banning of, like, as far as just the length correct, and I think of Ricky Garrard and Phil Toon. And Ricky got popped in 2017. He did his time, and he came back hungrier than ever, and now he's one of the favorites for the CrossFit Games. And I'm Team Ricky all the way. I love a comeback story. I like the fact that you can make a mistake and then come back from it, learn from it, and be a better athlete. Phil Toon got popped, lost interest. He ain't waiting that long. Went head first in the powerlifting world. Ain't nothing wrong with that. If you want to make it longer, then just make it permanent, because people aren't going to last 10 years. Either say everybody's not Rich Froning. So say like you're done, or I think 4 years is the best middle ground.
All right, Spin. You're up. You got 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Off you go.
4 years matches USADA and WADA on the known substances that you take. I think that's the right amount, but you also have to then start testing people throughout that 4 years. We can't have Ricky Garrard only having been tested once in his 4 years. I know a lot do walk away like Phil Toon, but you still need to keep testing if you're going to do that. I mean, 26 people this year have received off-season out of competition test. That's not enough. Also, I would throw out something that I think is kind of interesting. So to try to clean up the sport, if you get tested positive, you can throw somebody under the bus and have them tested. If it results in a suspension, right? They're dirty. You get a 1 year reduction. So it's 4 to 3. If you are wrong and they're clean, you got to pay for the drug test.
Wait, that's in it, or you want that to be in it?
I want that to be in it.
Oh, fuck. I thought that was a rule.
I thought
it needs to be
in it.
No, I'm saying that's what you should do to help clean up the sport.
All right. 20-second rebuttals. I mean, best fucking luck, Jason and John. Jason, you're up first. You got 20 seconds. Off you go.
Yeah, I think anyone can make a mistake, but I think it's more easier to forgive someone when they make a mistake when they're just a dumb kid. So giving it a longer ban means there's still time for them to come back and they've still got a chance. If they're a bit older, they should know better than to do it.
Fair enough. John, you're up. You got 20 seconds. Time starts now. Off you go.
All right. Well, I mean, I think you went a step too short, Brian. I completely agree with that idea. But I think if you catch somebody dirty, or if they're clean and you said that they were dirty, then they get 2 more years added to their ban. Like, I think it should work either way. But I'm all for what you just said. I just go further.
Brian, last 20 seconds are yours. Off you go.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of go to add on to what I was saying, like a lot of times you're not doing this by yourself. Like you're in a circle, you understand who's getting this. So the idea is you're kind of nervous. Like if he gets popped, I'm going to probably get snitched on. And so I could end my career too. So it may help clean up the sport by that.
Yeah, a circle jab. That's what you call it, isn't it? Oh man, shit! I've missed a lot of comments. Spin only got one. Yeah, Spin only got one. Start your own show, Richie. Shit. The chat won't let me call Heinrich what I want to call him. Maybe that's for the best. Did he ever reply to your comment on Spin's post? What's the punishment second and third offenses in baseball? It gets harsher and harsher. There is none, is there? I mean, if you get banned and serve 4 years and you come back and get banned again, I mean,
there's some sports that are like you get a month, or get a warning, then you get a month, then you get like 6 months. Like it's kind of a joke. So
Ricky would still be banned. I don't understand that comment. Shit,
because he said Matt Fraser was doing stuff and Matt Fraser wasn't, right. And then at least that's what I think you're referring to, Mama Maderos. But
yeah,
but everybody needs to be aware of the rule. Okay, he can't.
You can't retroactively.
Easy to say in hindsight.
Yeah,
right.
You can't retroactively.
You have to know that you're risking that before you throw that name out there.
And if you throw 4 people under the bus, does that just get it completely cleared away?
Ooh, that's
4 years of cancelled.
Fantastic.
Everyone, you just get rid of everyone in your circle jab.
You've opened up a whole new can of worms. -2 points, Brian. If Pedro so wishes.
See, I was trying to be budgetary friendly to CrossFit by saying you have to pay for the fine instead of adding time to it.
How much is a drug test? Because they're not cheap, sure they're not drug tests.
I'm sure they're very
I
expensive.
assume that's why there's so few of them.
CrossFit always says they're expensive.
Yeah.
I kind of just take their word for it.
All right. Spin fucking dominated that one. That was actually an incredibly good idea. I was like, fuck, as you were saying it, I was like, that is so cool that they have that. And then I realized, like, no, wait, he's just coming up with this.
They haven't thought of that, something like that yet.
But yeah, if anyone, well, Keith Knapp was, I think, the link between this show and CrossFit. He used to bring stuff to CrossFit, and well, they've fired him for it. So if there's anyone else listening, Dave, if you're the incredibly unlikely event you're listening, that's a really good solution to a problem that's consistent. All right. Speaking of TDC, he was on Savan's show. Incredible show with just a litany of calls at the start. Convinced that they were all the same person. One of the topics that came up in that conversation, someone spent like $500 to ask Dave 2 questions about programming. If anyone, this show accepts donations as well, if anyone wants to donate. But they asked about the cuts and the order of the cuts, the order of the events before the cuts, and how it affected that. People, Emma Lawson would have won if different events been different times, and he said, "I'm not getting into hypotheticals." So that brought me to my last question for this semi-final, which is, if there are cuts at an event like the CrossFit Games, should the events that precede that cut be a full and well-rounded test in and of themselves, and then as part of a broader, larger, full and well-rounded test over the course of the week or weekend or whatever? John Young, you're up first on this one. When I finish clicking this button in 10 more clicks. Right, you've got 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Off you go.
All right, 100%. I think if you want to make cuts, you can have 1 or 2 single modality tests, but it should be a strength-specific test, an endurance-specific test, gymnastics-specific test, and then 3 CrossFit events. And then you cut after that. And it, like, you don't have to do that specifically, but like if you look at last year, I think last year was perfect. Last year was awesome as far as I think where they cut and what events they chose. You have the bike ride, all endurance. You got the pig chipper, gymnastics, and lifting. If you look at that, Laura just dick slap everybody on the end of the pig. That's lifting. And then inverted medley, all gymnastics, alpaca gymnastics, lifting. Ski bag was a freaking squat workout. If you ever do a workout similar, it's just who's the best squatter. Colton Mertens won. That's lifting. And then Helena was endurance, CrossFit-y, cardio workout. Look at that list of workouts. That's a perfect balance test. And then they cut after that. Last year was perfect. That's how it should be done every year.
Good stuff. All right. Spin, you're up next. You got 60 seconds. Off you go.
I'm going to take a call out of Talking Elite Fitness. This is a nothing burger. Like we're going back to 2019. Everybody can agree that 2019, all of the cuts were not the right call, especially with the lifting at the very end when you got down to the top 10. So like you look at this year, it was fine. Like the CrossFit Games overall is going to be balanced. Nobody's going to go program the first 2 days to be heavily weighted in one direction or not. We have enough events. We have 6+ events on the first 2 days to make it well-rounded enough. Does it need to be perfect? Do we need shut up and scribble and get with the programming to say this is the perfect test? No, but that's what it's going to be, fairly well-rounded in general. So we're making something out of nothing at this point.
Fuck you, Spin. All right, Jason, you got 60 seconds. Your time starts now. Off you go.
Well, I'm going to build on what Spin said. It can't be perfect. If it's a perfectly balanced test before the cuts, don't bother having the cuts. Just give whoever's at the top of the leaderboard the crown, because they're clearly the fittest on earth at that point. The test is the entirety of the game. So we will not have our perfectly balanced test until the final workout on Sunday. And even then, for the rest of the year, people will debate whether or not it was truly a balanced test. With regards to the hypotheticals of moving events around, because they would have scored more points if they'd won that event if it had been on Sunday, as soon as you start moving the order of events, you have to also take into consideration that that person might not have done as well in that event if it was on Sunday as opposed to Saturday for a number of different reasons. Maybe they're in a bad headspace because they did worse on that workout that has now been moved to the Saturday from the Sunday. So it's never going to be perfect. It is what it is, but it's good enough.
All right. Final 20-second rebuttal round. Oh, whoever wins this has 30 seconds to talk about whatever they want. John, you're not allowed to talk about JY Barbell Club again. You have to talk about something different. I'm only joking. All right. John, you got 20 seconds. I've set the clock for 30, but it's 20. Go.
With all due respect, both of y'all are on crack, because the other people matter too. The top 20, the bottom 20 matter too. In that order of events matters to who gets into the top 20, and that can skew the leaderboard at the top of the chain. It's not just the fittest person at the end of 6 events.
Your time is up there. Sorry, I actually said it for 30, but it is 20. But I mean, you should have known that because you're such an avid fan of the show. All right. Spin, you've actually got 20 seconds. Your time starts now.
Everyone freaked out last year about the cuts coming in. I did the analysis of the prior year. It doesn't matter, right? Like John can't tell me somebody who is in the bottom 20 who would have finished in the top 15 had they been there the entire time, or the order of events been reversed.
Hopper.
Shut your mouth, John. Your time is up. You're muted. Fuck you. Right, Jason, you've got 20 seconds. Your time starts now.
If you want a fair test for all the athletes, what you need to do is make the semifinals a bigger event. Normally, if you win the European Championships in a sport, that's incredible. Take less athletes to the games in the first place and let them run all the tests.
You just lost for yourself there, Jason. Sorry. All right. I'll open score. John, I wish there was one more question because I feel like John's just on that upward trajectory of anger.
Yeah, you didn't let me come back. You didn't let me come back with him. Jason Hopper. I think Jason Hopper's in the top 20 after the end of the week. He does the full test.
Not a chance. He was struggling all week.
He's just waiting his time, man. The Olympic lift, he would have been 5th, and then he would have been there. The top
waiting
20.
his time. Well, he really fucked up his time if he's waiting.
For sure. But he's a good runner, and Olympic lifting was next, and then it had intervals, which was rowing. Those next 3 events, he would have been top 15 after those 3 events alone.
31st to 15th?
100%.
Okay.
Book it.
31st. All right. Let me have a look at some comments. The guy that gave Savan $400 to ask the question didn't realize it. I don't fucking care. Test before cuts will never perfectly test athletes. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the whole weekend or week or whatever. John Young yelling. He did yell a little bit there. He yelled twice actually. Oh, that's so embarrassing for Matt. He made a typo there at the end of his insult. The guy snatches 300 and thinks his shot don't stink. Oh, it's such a shame.
It was 305, so
and his shit does stink. The biggest issue with cuts is the way the scoring table changes. They should use 20 athlete scoring table the whole. Just don't change the scoring system, I think is what that message is saying. Oh, that's Bryson. That's Sentinel Bryson.
If you finish 20th to 40th, you just get 0 every single time.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Instead. Okay. Yeah. Fuck. That's pretty harsh, though. Incorrect, Slater. Although it's cool that you have a picture with
wrong.
The goat. All right. Spin takes it 8. That middle round just fucking. That was impressive. Spin takes with 8. Jason on 6. White John Young on 6. Congratulations, fellas. Spin.
I have a question for you, Peter.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Is it about your score? Or are you disputing your score?
I'm disputing Spin's score.
Why are you disputing Spin's score? Do you want me to read you my notes?
Sure. Let me. Can I dispute first?
Can it work the same way with the drug testing?
Yes. Can it work the same way with the drug testing? Yeah.
But if it's wrong, he loses more points.
So Spin took the middle round.
100. Can I dispute first?
Yeah. Sorry. Go on. Yeah.
Okay. So this last round, he went from 5 to 8, meaning he got 3 points in that round, and me and Jason both got 2.
Correct.
All he said was, "This is a stupid question. I shouldn't be asked." He said, "This is a nothing burger. We shouldn't. Like, it's never going to be right. We don't care." And I was told we get points in this little program for having strong opinions, and he had just calling it a nothing burger. He gets more points than me or Jason. I'm not even arguing my answer is the best one. I'm just saying his answer
because it wasn't
was trash, and he got more points for both of us. You agree,
No.
Jason? Yes or no?
Because the first thing that's always on the list is specifics and examples, and he had specifics and examples. And
I
he
read off
other
every
years.
single event at the freaking games last year, man.
Yeah,
what that was
about? Listen, if you want to waste your own time talking about things that, like, just making a list of things, that's like the time Taylor came on and read a quote for 30 seconds. It's just a bad use of time. Spin referenced another year. He said he looked into other years and would have made a difference. Same in the middle round. He had specifics. He had examples. He had multiple examples.
I could say I look into every single year and they're all great. You don't know. I didn't. You
Oh
know, I
shit!
could make that
Do you
up.
want to say that? I'll change your score. Do you want to say that instead?
Go
Listen,
ahead.
John.
No, it's cool. It's your show. I'm just saying. You know,
Oh, there
might
you
want
go.
to look in the mirror a little
Relevant
bit.
specifics, John. Relevant specifics. No, I appreciate your vigor. You're welcome back on anytime, John, if you want to. I will also just say to the people that are watching this. So, John, just before we went live, John said, I couldn't find the questions, so I'm just going off the cuff on this. So now he's getting pissed off that he didn't win when he put in no effort before the show started. Didn't even know what the three, he knew one of the three questions.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but if you had been like, man, I was up till midnight last night going over these questions and I'm like so worried, I would accept your point. But the fact that literally
All right.
30 minutes and 50 seconds ago, you were like, I don't know any of the questions.
These are my notes for each question. I was just saying that to get into Mr. Spin's head. So there you go. Boom. Take it back.
And you only got 6 points after that?
It's over. It's a wrap.
Wow, you should have consulted your notes when you're answering your questions. Okay, thanks, John. I love you. You're a cool guy. Thanks to John, Jason, and Spin. Next week we have Brian Spin, Seth Page from Jump Ship Programming, who's still giving away bags, and Andrew Hiller in the first ever final. And then immediately after that, the following Wednesday, we start our next round. And we have more preliminary rounds, more semifinals, another final, and then we do it again. And then we have like a big fuck off final where it's like whoever wins next week versus the final of the following series versus the final of the following series. And it just go on forever. It's just a never ending series of finals and semifinals.
Just start recycling people.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely am going to recycle people. I mean, there's only so many people that exist that
who are willing to jump on.
And technically, I'm in Brian Friend's spot, so I should still get my spot.
But every time I ask Brian to come on, he's going to be afraid. He's going to be too afraid to come on anyway. So I'll just invite him on and then bring you on as his instead of. All right, Spin. You got 30 seconds to presumably promote your show for tonight. Your time starts now. Off you go.
I can. Actually, tonight, John Young will be premiering a new mountain. It'll be the Everest Elite. So come find out what that is all about at 7:30 Eastern time. As for actual real commentary, I think CrossFit made a major mistake by putting all of the age groups and adaptives after the games. So
they fucked up so much with that stuff. I actually had that as one of the questions, and then I have a guy that I bounce my questions off. It's JR. I bounce my questions off JR. And we both were kind of like, everyone is going to say that it's absolutely moronic that they're both on the same weekend and that it's a holiday weekend when people go places anyway. And it's just like, it's just going to lead to universal slaughtering of CrossFit in agreement. Yeah, they're just so fucking stupid. Okay, Jason, thank you. No doubt we'll see you back here again. John, thank you. Same as always. You're always welcome to get angry and, just blow a fuse or two. It's great. But you're an intelligent guy, and I'm sorry that you lost and that you feel bad about it, but I'm not really sorry. You get what you deserve. Brian, thank you. I'll see you next week. I'll send you the topics on Tuesday. Everybody else, Spin is on tonight. Savan will probably have a news show out tonight. Jason's behind the scenes from Strength and Depth. You can go and watch that. Unique concept. I haven't heard of that before. Recording stuff from not in front of the scenes. John is going to be on Spin show tonight. I'm going to lobby Savan to bring back the weekly games news show on Friday. I really missed that. All right, my voice is going. Thanks everybody. Goodbye. Godspeed.